Okay. All righty. Let's see. What's this looking like? Okay. Hi, everybody. All right. I don't want to cover up Toussaint. He's my buddy. He's on this side. Okay. Hello. I'm Kirsten Peck, and I am here in my first episode of the Betrayed by Trump Guide live check-in. Okay. I wrote this book last year when the president had been elected and was in office for about 100 days. And I was a civics and high school teacher in Florida and put together a series of lessons that I would teach in my high school to educate students about how civics works and process how it works and help them figure out their personal values and goals and how that fits into a society where we all want to live together in peace. Because it is a choice where we live. We can move around. We choose to live where we do. We put our lives into motion based on the things that we focus on and the things we learn about, our associations with our friends and our families and our communities are a circle of influence that adds to our perspective and makes us who we are. Okay. So all of these things come together, and I really had to put my best effort into the political process because I disagree with the direction that the country is going in, which is my right as an American. And that I teach this process. I am going through this process now with people here on the internet. I a couple months ago, I went to Oslo and visited the Nobel Peace Institute that had several different interesting things that caught my eye. I want to share those with you because this is part of what really is my genesis in this origin story of how this is all working. Okay. This is the Joy West Press side of all of my books, all of my writing, all of my thinking, and dedicated to helping people find their best way through life. And so this is the overview, and I'm going to have to keep this one a little short tonight because I have to switch over to the actual Betrayed by Trump Guide channel on YouTube and run this again over there with the actual more focus of the program itself. And so that's this one. Okay, so let me back up just a second here. This Nobel Peace Prize story. I was over, and the art institute or the art exhibit was about war and peace. And it says in here that War and Peace is a title borrowed from George Orwell's 1984 novel that imagined a world where language was twisted to serve power. Decades later, Orwell's vision feels less like fiction and more like a lens through which we can understand our own time. The manipulation of words, the blurring of truth, and the reframing of peace, they are part of our political reality. So the mission at the Peace Center is to use the ideas and the work of the prize laureates to engage and inspire for a better and more peaceful world. Peace Prize mission invites us to reflect on how symbols have been used to legitimize war and how it can also be used to resist it. Because with knowledge comes power, and language can be a shield or a weapon. That's why dialogue and reflection matter. And so those very specific words ring so true to me of the power of language and what we say to ourselves and what we say to our other people around us is our brain power thinking and guiding our lives by the words that come out of our mouths. And the reflection and the dialogue and that process of talking and sharing and being in the moment is, I think, what we really have to do. So I'm starting this as a time to reach out. It's not a political debate. We can't get back to the finger pointing of they did this and you did that and I did that and they did that. Okay, stop. Let's stop that. Okay. I really want to draw a truce. Let's draw a truce, a line in the sand that says, okay, fine, this is where we are. And can we get back to our personal values and our sense of common good for everyone? We want to live together in peace. And so that it has to work this way. We have to figure this out. And the Peace Center, and now I'm going to switch over to the other book that they gave me. These are the actual instructions for how to do this, how to have the dialogue, listening and sharing and reflecting. So let me read these 8 steps or the 8 principles, because this is the simple way to go. And it's so simple, and yet it's so complicated and messed up that we have to stop and we have to say, okay, enough. Okay. So these 8 principles, let's see if we can get through them. The dialogue should be a basic attitude. Yeah, we have to just talk. We can't be all so focused on ourselves and self-absorbed. It has to be an attitude of conversation. Number 2, create safe spaces. Yeah, so that's what this is. It's private, it's quiet, it's after dark because it needs to be safe. Okay. Number 3, include all relevant parties. So me sitting here by myself isn't really doing it. I need to get people together. We need to get in their room. We need to start having this conversation, but we can't do it. We got to start somewhere. So I'm starting somewhere and I'm inviting people into my classroom or into my room here in my virtual visit, and we have to talk. In a dialogue, you must listen. Number 5, everyone shares their experiences. Everybody shares. We have to put it up. What do you got? Ask questions. Explain it. I don't understand. Help me figure this out because I don't understand. And you can help me change my mind. I'll come over and join you if you can help me understand this. And in the same way, I hope you'll come over and see what I'm talking about if I can explain it and help you understand it. So it's a sharing of ideas. Number 7, talk about the difficult topics. This is the most difficult of the difficults. How do we get started? Okay, I'm past that. We're starting. We're in it. We're in it. Okay. Last one, number 8, contribute to forgiveness and reconciliation. And that's going to be the one that's going to be the hardest, I think, because there's a whole lot of bad feelings on both sides, a whole lot of, back to this finger pointing, and a whole lot of somebody's not going to be happy. And that's what happens when you're in this push to extremes rather than staying kind of in the middle, which most people want to support. So we've swung a little far to the extreme, and we got to get back here to this common good of most everybody. So most everybody's common good. Okay. That's where this is at. Okay. I'm trying to get through this. I want to make sure that the invitation is here and the respect is here to step up and put ourselves in this delicate situation. There are a whole lot of risks involved. It is scary. We are pushed to the extreme. And that takes a calm and that takes a balance. Okay. Balance. Okay. So the best way that I know to start this out is with the list out of the book of personal values that have been studied and researched and compiled here to the list of the ultimate. I think there's like 40 of them. Values that people share, that different people have. They're not right or wrong. They're not good or bad. Every one of them is good. Every one of them is personal to somebody. Okay. And I'm going to put this up here just for a second, see if we can get a glimpse of it. Okay. Here we go. This isn't working. I've got to figure this out. Okay. But the point is the activity, and I'm just going to lead this one first because I'm the one that's here talking. Okay. Please subscribe, follow along. I'm missing this in all these conversations here. Okay. The list of values. As I said, all of these are important. And the one, there's two that get me, that started this for me. And this started with me 10 years ago when he first started running for office. Those being respect and truth. To me, those are quintessential values that I have, that I believe that we put respect forward. You give respect to every single person in the world. Everyone deserves respect. We're all human beings. We all live and breathe and respect, to me. Okay. The second one. And so when that disrespect comes up and that joking and that taunting and that level of disrespect has now been approved and has grown and spread, it has, I believe, become one of the biggest problems that I think we need to get back to understanding. And when I taught middle school, there was a video I used to show in middle school of values and helping the kids kind of see the different values as to which ones they wanted to embrace and which ones they didn't really have so many feelings about. And the question of respect comes up because if somebody looks at you funny, you feel disrespected, and then you're going to cop an attitude. And I'm like, kids, that's not how it's going to go. That's going to create a lot of negative in your world. And if you flip that around and if you put respect first and you respect everyone, then the respect is going to come back to you because that's what we're building in a positive way, And in the same way, the second one, truth, lies and truth. If you're not telling me the truth, if you are a liar, then you have no reputation, you have no standing, you have no honor, you have no credibility. You're a bunch of hot air. That's a whole bunch of hot air. That's not anything that's valuable. And so, again, back to this whole people who are lying versus people who are telling the truth. It's not going to work, especially not with me. And so the question that I have for people here, as I'm going to wrap this up, I'm putting out two values that I think we really have to get back to. And can someone please explain it to me how respect is not important to you? How do you really go through life without feeling respect, without the need to be respectful, without that connection to people? It's a very lonely, solo life without respect. And please explain to me why you think that's a good idea. Okay? Same thing with truth. Please explain to me how lying and deception and fraud are acceptable to you and how you run your world and how you think that that's a good idea. Because I don't understand. I genuinely do not understand. And I genuinely need somebody to explain it to me because I want to figure it out. I got to that's the one that blows my mind in the biggest primary way. So I'm looking here at my notes. I've got tons of notes, and this can go on and on and on. But this is how does this apply to the arts business that I'm doing in the daytime? It comes down to art, politics and art. The messaging and the visual images of art has been around forever. And in this one, I was looking here, some of the paintings of Francisco Goya back in 1805 was documenting the horrors of war in his pictures. And so here's some of the pictures, the agony and the imagery of that, because that's what war does. And so this is the time. So nighttime, we're getting into a little nitty gritty here, and this is the private conversations. And so I have to wrap this up because I have to go to the other website or the other channel, Betrayed by Trump Guide. Please switch over there, subscribe over there, and let's talk about this some more. Okay, I got to go tonight. Thanks for listening, checking in on me. Subscribe here, follow along. And episode 1, I got this one done. All right. Talk to you later. See you tomorrow out in the garden in the morning. All right. Bye. And now I know how to end these streams. Bye.